When I was a child, I went to the city to take an examination. It was around the time of the spring festival. According to old customs, the day before the festival, merchants would gather to celebrate the arrival of spring in a grand procession, an event known as the spring performance. I went with a friend to watch the festivities. On that day, the streets were packed with people. In the main hall, four officials, all dressed in red, sat on opposite sides, facing each other. At that time I was too young to understand who these officials were, but the noise of the crowd and the sound of drums filled the air. Suddenly, a man with disheveled hair appeared, carrying a boy with him. He was holding a shoulder pole with some items, and seemed to have something to say. Despite the noisy surroundings, it was clear that the officials were amused by him. Soon after, a man dressed in blue ordered him to perform a trick. The man agreed and asked what kind of performance was required. The officials discussed among themselves, and then sent someone to ask what his special skill was. The man claimed that he could make plants grow out of season. The officials then commanded him to produce a peach. The man pretended to be troubled and complained, "The ice has not yet melted, where can I find a peach? But if I fail to bring one, I fear the wrath of those in power." His son reminded him that he had already promised and could not back out. After pondering for a moment, the man said, "There is only one place where a peach can be found now, in the garden of the Queen Mother of the West. I must steal it from the heavens." He then opened a box and took out a long rope, which he threw into the sky. The rope ascended higher and higher until it hung suspended in the air. He told his son to climb up the rope, but the son hesitated, fearing that the rope might break and he would fall to his death. The father comforted him and promised that if he succeeded, he would be rewarded with 100 gold coins and a beautiful wife. The son then took hold of the rope and climbed up, disappearing into the clouds. After a while, a peach as large as a bowl fell from the sky. The man was overjoyed and presented it to the officials. However, the rope soon fell back to the ground, and the man was horrified, thinking that his son had been discovered and killed by the celestial guards. Moments later, the son's head, followed by his limbs, fell from the sky, leaving the man in deep sorrow. The man gathered his son's remains and declared that he would bury him. He pleaded with the officials for help, offering to repay their kindness with his life. The officials, shocked by the performance, rewarded him with gold. The man tied the money around his waist and then called out to his son, telling him to come out and thank the officials. To everyone's amazement, the boy's head emerged from the box. The whole scene had been a masterful illusion. This extraordinary performance left a lasting impression on me. Later, I heard that members of a secretive cult known as the White Lotus could perform similar feats. I couldn't help but wonder if the man was one of their descendants.